with your gibber, mate. Look at him. Oh, Leon's on telly.
That little kid with the squeaky voice and the mullet and the little replica SG stomping around his backyard, that's me when I'm not even 4 years old. I've been digging through some old family videos and digitizing them, and I came across that, and I figured it would be a really nice little way to talk about, you know, everybody says my journey, but my relationship with the guitar over the years. I think it's definitely more of a relationship than a journey when it comes to the guitar. So let's just all sit back and enjoy me when I'm barely 4 years old, 1992, stomping around my backyard with my cousins, doing finger tapping and imitating wah-wah pedals. I'm not actually playing, but, you know, I've got a guitar and that's more than half the battle.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, presenting Leon, the rock and roll star, playing lots of his favourite songs on guitar, electric guitar.
Now, I would love to be able to tell you all that, you know, I've been playing guitar since 1992, which would mean I've been playing guitar for 28 years, which is a little bit terrifying. That's over 10,000 days. That's also a Tool album as well, but I digress. The truth is a little bit more complicated. I grew up in a pretty musical household. My dad is not only an excellent guitar player, he used to build guitars a lot when I was a kid. He was gigging and he was building guitars and he was teaching. So I just kind of grew up around the guitar. And if you don't believe me, this is my dad in 1992 jamming with my uncle on bass. Check this out. So being a kid, naturally, the last thing I ever wanted to do was actually play the guitar. I got into like every other possible hobby or potential career. In Australia, we love our Aussie rules football, so I played Aussie rules football as a kid. I played cricket. I got into skateboarding. I really got into computers, just about everything that a kid does. I didn't want to play guitar. That was something my dad and my uncle did, and I didn't even really like music that much. And it wasn't until I was maybe 14 years old where I just had one of those moments, bolt out of the blue. I heard a song and it made me feel something. It was probably realistically just puberty kicking in at that moment, but I remember listening to music and it kind of hit me in a very different way. And I looked around me and I had all these guitars at my disposal, which I realize makes me so much more fortunate than a lot of other people. But that thing that was the furthest thing away from something I would want to do suddenly looked really, really good and really attractive. And one of my friends who I skated with at the time had a guitar. So we started jamming on guitars and, you know, like most kids, he kind of lost interest in about a month and I just kind of kept going and going. And then I moved to a different school where they had a really good music program, and I've found some footage of me performing. I think I'm 17 here, so I'd been playing guitar for about 3 years. And hopefully this dispels the myth that you have to be an absolute prodigy to get anywhere, because, you know, for somebody who's been playing for a couple of years, I think my playing on this is pretty good, but it's also not the most amazing thing. I've seen people on YouTube who have been playing a guitar for a year and they just play with a maturity and a musical sense far beyond their years. And if you look at this clip, it's still very much a work in progress. But that's all right, because I'm having a lot of fun and I'm still absolutely hamming it up and jamming with my buddies. that stage, I knew why I wanted to play guitar. I knew I wanted to play music. I knew I wanted to be on stage. I loved the rush you get on stage, because anybody who loves performing will tell you all about that. That rush can be pretty addictive. The question was, how am I going to do it? Living in Perth, Western Australia, you know, I knew why I wanted to do it, but I didn't know how. Perth is the most isolated capital city in the world, and there's not a whole lot of opportunities for, you know, career development. So guitar kind of got put on the back burner for me. I went to university, I studied science and mathematics, and honestly, the thought of playing guitar as a career or even as something that I could do started to fade away a little bit, until I met some people my own age who were also really passionate about the sort of music that I like. And it turns out I went to university with some of them. So I met up with these guys and we started jamming, and my initial impression was, these guys are way too good. There's no way they're going to want to play in a band with me. And from that little seed, I met Ragdoll's drummer, Cam. I actually met our producer, Troy, as well, who's recorded all of the Ragdoll releases. And Cam and I just kind of stuck together. We're talking about 2005 at this stage, so I was probably 18, going on 19. Maybe it was 2006. That's not the point. We both kind of had a shared vision of what we wanted to do in a band. The question was, how? And you know, drummer and guitar player seeks singer is the most common type of musical classified out there. And it wasn't until we stumbled across this guy absolutely singing his nuts off in a cover band that, you know, the penny dropped and we found the guy. And that was Ryan, who's now our singer and bass player in Ragdoll. And the how suddenly started to materialize. And this is a story for another time, and something that I do want to tell in full, do a little kind of history of Ragdoll video, because we've got a lot of footage sitting around. Long story short, we have been really, really fortunate to get some great opportunities, but also to have been prepared to take those opportunities. We've toured the US a bunch of times, we've toured Europe, we've toured all around Australia, and we've had a lot of fun playing music. And it's almost come full circle for me, where when I was 14, it was, why do I want to do this? And the penny dropped. Then when I was a little bit older, it wasn't why, it's how do I do this? How do I actually get out there and make music with people? And then once I'd done a little bit of that, I found myself asking the question, why? Like, why do I want to do this? And, you know, watching that video of me when I'm 4 years old again, it kind of answers that question. There's a look of just sheer joy and elation that I get, not only from music, because music has been an integral and important part of my life, but from performing and sharing. And, you know, that's one reason why I have a YouTube channel and why I make so much content. And it's been very nice at the moment to take some time and reflect on all of this and realize that everybody's a work in progress. You know, don't focus on the end product with guitar, because, or music in general, I guess, but you're going to have a relationship that changes over time with your guitar. At certain points, it will be the absolute focus of your life. At other times, it's going to be totally peripheral and something that maybe you don't put too much thought into. So for me, it's all about that joy of playing and sharing and having fun, and the human aspect of music, and guitar being a part of my life. I think that's the thing that has changed from when I was 14. When I was 14, my life was guitar. And now, when I'm 32, well, guitar is a very important part of my life, but there's a bunch of other things in my life that I'm really passionate about. And guitar just happens to be one of those. When did you start playing guitar? Why don't you tell me about it in the comments? I'm sure everybody out there has a very interesting and unique story when it comes to the guitar, or if you're not a guitar player, drummer or bass player. Enjoy. Thank you for watching.
Wow, 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 wow.